I don't know if I lost the video there, guys. I'm sorry. Probably did. This is an Intes-Micro 5-inch Mac-Newt. It has an outside diameter of 6.5 inches. It is lightweight. It has a single collar, which to me is not a bother because it's lighter than buying a ring set affair. And anything that lightens the scope is okay with me. The weakness of the ring collar is offset by a trio of vibration dampening pads. This scope is optically superb. This is a dynamite lunar and planetary scope. When you consider its weight and size. Maybe I can get it over here so you can see the meniscus of the primary mirror. Let me move the scope a little. I hope you can see that. It has a little 30mm finder, which really doesn't bother me at all, because I use this primarily for lunar and planetary work, but it's suitable for deep sky. I would just have to set up a better finder for it, I think. It accommodates 2-inch eyepieces. Not sure what that affects in the field of view, but I'm told that the outside field of view of a Intes-Micro Mac-Newt is dimmer than the center. But on axis, this thing is a killer scope. Absolutely killer. I have a dew shield for it if I'm doing deep sky. But when I'm doing planetary, I don't use it. If it dews up, it dews up. The scope itself is in pretty good shape. Really, very few dings. There's some metal shavings on the inside of the meniscus. If my hands were a little steadier, I would simply unscrew these little screws, remove the meniscus, make sure it's marked properly, and go in there and blow it off. But for right now, I'm not gonna worry about it too much. So the trick with a Newtonian is to have a cat's collimator or a cat's eye collimator. It really is a handy piece. Leaves no doubt that the scope is perfectly collimated. And with these Macs, once you've collimated them, they stay collimated. It's not like they're going to go out. You can bang them around, I suppose. And it's not going out of collimation unless there's a faulty screw in there or something, or a strip screw. There might be an issue there. But yeah, with the University Optics eyepieces, they work real well. Here's a 2-inch. Now I have a 1.5 inch adapter, and I do have some extension tubes if I need it. You know, a lot of people don't know about it, but push-pull is still a way to get a gross focus. In other words, I get an extension tube and simply withdraw it, pull it back a little, right, until I get a gross focus, and then I simply rotate this, which is a very smooth helical focus. But yeah, I mean, it's not an issue for me. about a second dampening, and I can move the finder to either side rather quickly, and it stays aligned. So this is certainly a highly regarded instrument. I never had a problem with the internals on the telescope. I keep the rear end covered. There's a plate here. There's different philosophies on that, but you know, as long as my telescope, you see the plate here, as long as I don't store it in a heated area and then bring it out into the cold, you know, I won't have any issues. So if tonight is going to be 76 degrees, make sure that I store it in 76 degree temperature. You know, somewhere cooler in the house or outside, you know, and cover it. And I can get in some decent observing time. So yeah, this is a marvelous telescope on Jupiter. Highly recommend it. Hard to find. Probably won't be getting too many of these around as we old timers die off. Don't know what happens to them. I did have probably the best Mac-Newt I've ever owned was the I had two of them. I had the Mac-Newt 8-inch f6, and that was a terrific scope. I had it mounted on my heavy University Optics mount with a patched together drive, and that one was wheeled out from the garage. Excuse me. But yeah, if you want to just a relatively painless telescope to mount and set up, the 5-inch is awesome. The 6-inch that I had to mount on the heavier mount. Just had to. I had a 6-inch Mac-Newt once. It didn't do well on this GP mount. The GP mount is a good mount, but it doesn't do well with longer tube telescopes that are heavy. Even though the radion is 30 pounds, I mean, if you've got a long tube, you're going to have issues with it. It just isn't very accommodating. I had a 5.5-inch Mac-Newt once, a wide field, and this GPDX or D, whatever it is, was struggling with it. Just the balance was always an issue, and I didn't want to strip the smaller Japanese gears that are built into this wonderful little mount. So yeah, this GPD is a great mount. I have a battery pack, and I also have this adapter that came with it. I don't know if you can buy them anymore, but it's an AC adapter, and that's just a matter of plugging it into the outlet, and I'm ready to go. So I like it for its simplicity, and that's what I look for when I do some astronomy. The GPD, wonderful on I had a Orion UK, I think it was a 9-inch, can't remember, a 9-inch MacCas, and it handled it very well because it was more of a compact. Handled obviously the smaller Russian Macs real well. But the MacCas is, for whatever reason, it's always difficult for me to get a good view. I don't know what the deal is with that, but this Newt format works much better, at least in my conditions. Down in Florida, under a subarctic sub-arc-second seen, which in my lifetime of 30 years of observing, I've only seen a couple times. Actually, my time's in Florida. I think I visited 3 times, and in 3 encounters we had sub-arc-second seen. I was working with a scientist who could measure it for me. And the Mac casts worked wonderfully. They were just dynamite. So if you're going to buy a Mac cast, you've got to have the proper seeing conditions. If you don't, they're just not going to catch. They're just not going to work as well. You're going to have some turbulence in the tube. I don't know why, but this one does okay in the northern climb. And but right now it's baking in the sun, so the turbulence is going to build up, and it's only good for maybe a 25 millimeter eyepiece. But I hope you like what you see here. Highly recommend them if you can find them. Absolutely. I don't think they're that expensive. Probably be had for around $600 or so, and then you got to pay for shipping. But you got to ask the previous owner a lot of questions. A lot of these guys buy these things and monkey around with them, and could strip some screws that are really critical to it. So yeah, it's got to be in good shape if you're going to buy one. So you ask them, how many owners does this have? When did you buy it? Has it ever been dropped? Things like that. But yeah, they're a great scope. I can carry this in with one hand, and then I bring the lightweight mount, the GPD in, and it's not as comfortable or as easy as the alt-azimuth mounts that I own. But nevertheless, this, I know with University Optics eyepieces work really well. And that's all I have today. I hope you enjoyed the video.